Richard Peebles, Peebles Group.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a little bit underprepared actually. I've just been in hospital, my boy's in hospital, had an asthma attack last night, so I didn't get to finish my, so just bear in mind that I felt it was so important to come here. I left my infant child sick, so I begged in the hospital to come and make a submission on the long-term plan. He's actually 14, he's not really an infant. For the purpose of this exercise, just imagine he is an infant.
You have our undivided attention, Richard.
Look, I'm the owner of Peebles Group. We've invested heavily into the CBD of Christchurch. We've got 3 major projects underway at the moment. We've got the Farmers Market in town. We've also got the Guthrie Centre beside Valentine's, which is 16 retail shops, and also the historic Duncan's buildings in High Street. This is our biggest year yet. And you might ask why I invested heavily. I do quite often ask that question, but you know, I was sold the dream. You know, the dream of the, you know, that beautiful video they played with the, you know, the convention centre and the inner city housing and the walkways and the cycle lanes and you know, and to be fair, you know, a lot of the dream is taking a bit longer to come to fruition, but it is happening. But the major project, and I think the project that was most important out of all the projects, is the multi-purpose arena. It's taken me about a year to say that rather than stadium, but anyway, I've got it out now. So multi-purpose arena. You know, the recovery's at a very delicate stage. You know, we've got some momentum. You know, we had a lot of private developers, you know, the Carters and the Goffs, and who made these huge investments into the city. And I'm a follower, not a leader with those guys. Those guys are the ones that started the reinvestment. But we're at a very delicate stage. You know, we're either going to go on, we're going to kick on, it's going to be successful and vibrant, or it's not. It's either going to stagnate or it's going to actually get worse. Now, this is, you know, you guys sat here for the last few days. I'm winging this a bit, by the way, but anyway, sat here for the last few days or weeks. I don't know how long you've been doing it. Weeks, right? And everyone's been saying, I want this, I want money for this pool, and I want money for this cycleway, I want money for that, and all that sort of thing. I'm not here to ask about money for something I want. You know, this is about something we need. And I hear people say, you know, if we want a multi-purpose arena, let rugby pay for it and all that sort of thing. The point is, we've got to have this multi-purpose arena. We've got to have it. You know, the need for the covered arena is that you've got to do it. Not only do we have to do it, but we've got to do it now. You know, time is our enemy. It's uncertainty at the moment. You know, without it, there's a very likelihood that businesses will fail. You know, at the moment you've got the terrace operating. There's an article today about another business in Victoria Street that failed. Without the multi-purpose arena, a lot of businesses will fail. Now, these are the acts that we will not get this year. So these are the acts we will not get. Ed Sheeran, Celine Dion, Bruno Mars, Kate Perry, Mariah Carey, Shania Twain, Macklemore, Neil Diamond, Imagine Dragons, Def Leppard, Supertramp, Hillary Clinton. The rugby test we're not going to get. You know, these are the things we're not getting. And we're not going to get this next year, and we're not going to get that the year after. But it's up to you guys to decide whether we're going to get it in year 3 or 4. Recently, we've received a couple of messages. One from the Lord, you know, when he sent the hail down with the Crusaders game, and the other one we received was from Ed Sheeran in Dunedin. Ed Sheeran was an economic boom for Dunedin. You know, it was economic disaster for Christchurch. Now, you know, I read stuff all the time, and you know, bear in mind that this is directly out of the paper, so it's not necessarily correct. But 21,000 vehicles left Christchurch to go to Dunedin for that weekend. So you know, we possibly that's 30 to 35,000 of our, and we're talking to people that go out and buy tickets and go to restaurants. They're you know, the movers and shakers, the people with money. They left town and they went to Dunedin. Now, when they actually first opened the Forsyth Bar, one of the first big concerts was the Elton John concert, and they had 35,000 people, and they did research on it. Half of the people that went were from out of town, 34% of those from Christchurch. The average spend was $558 per person. So that was a massive, massive boom for Dunedin. Now, if we adopt, just for inflation and things, so we adopt $650 per person of those 35,000 people that went to Dunedin, they spent $22.8 million in Dunedin. Our locals, 10% of our population, pissed off for the weekend and spent $23 million in Dunedin. And this is going to happen time and time again. We can't afford to lose these people every time there's a big concert on. The most common question when I deal with international retailers all the time, with the Farmers Market and Guthrie Centre and retail consultants, the question they ask me? What are your tourist drivers? Where are the people coming from? We cannot rely on just your residents. We need to know where the visitors come from. You know what I tell them? We've got a cardboard cathedral and a ruin of a cathedral. I've got nothing else to tell them. We don't have the big tourist drivers, and we need them. The CBD has got to be successful. All these things that we want, it's only going to be paid for by a successful CBD. Now, the rentals in the prime CBD at the moment, if you've got prime Cashel Mall frontage, $1,200 a metre is about the maximum you get. Now, I'm doing the Hugo Boss building on the corner. So it's, the prime rent's at $1,200 a metre. The market's strong, you get a 6% yield. That property will yield about $55,000 in rates per annum, just a single level building. But if the businesses start failing, it's you could expect the rents to half if businesses start closing. And because you've got a rating differential where you pay $7,000 a million for commercial and $5,000 a million for residential, the difference is that if that same building has a half the rental, the yields will be higher because people will not want it. So therefore, that building will only realise $22,000. It's a massive, massive difference. Everything we want can be paid for by a successful CBD. If we don't have the high rates for the CBD, it just reverts to residential. I recently went to Robbie Williams' concert in Auckland, and my partner booked a hotel. It was $750 for the night. We're only staying one night. And I said, "You've got to be bloody kidding, you pay $750 a night." I went on to Rago, the cheapest. I wasn't going to a motel, I was going to the 5-star, but anyway, the cheapest one I could get was $680. You can get a hotel in Christchurch 5-star for $180. This is the impact. Now that Spark Arena has, for the last 3 or 4 years, has 60 to 70 events a year. So it's 12,000 people right in the CBD. Now I've spoken to the guys that manage the, get the events at V-Base, and they're telling me that most of those concerts they can get to Christchurch in that location with a covered stadium. And the construction cost. When Wellington, they built Westpac Stadium in the year 2000, 36,000, 130 million. The Dunedin Stadium in 2009, 2010, was actually 198 million. They got charged 20 million in interest. I still can't work that out when they're given the money, but anyway, 220 million for the Dunedin Stadium. We're now talking, 450, 500 million?
Less than that.
Yeah, 450, let's go with 450. So, but time is our enemy. If we wait another 2 years, that'll be 600 million. We cannot wait. We need, the business case, this is it, let's build it, let's go. Time is an enemy. Look, I've talked to my kids, they're 13, 14, 15, 16. The oldest one's going to Wellington, the second one wants to go to Dunedin. None of them want to stay here. And I started talking about the multi-purpose arena, I started talking about Katy Perry and Macklemore and some other rapper I've never heard of. But suddenly they became excited, and I said, imagine having a multi-person arena. It's 200 metres from Little High in the laneways, and imagine going through the Little High and the laneways, back through the rebuilt Soul Square, back into the terrace, right in the CBD. If we have something exciting and vibrant, the Hospo is just starting to establish with this arena, we'll have the best city in the whole of the country. People will put Christchurch down as number one for their events. I heard about a Dunedin City Councillor that didn't support the stadium, who was a property owner in town. His tenants told him after the Elton John concert, their turnover in the weekend of the Elton John concert was more than the whole previous month. That's the impact that these concerts can have on the CBD. But it's not just the hospo. It's everyone. It's the accommodation, it's the Uber drivers, it's the taxi drivers, it's the Metro Marts, it's everyone. You know, when I hear people say, oh, well, let the hospital people pay for it, it's not the hospital people, the guy that drives the taxi driving them in, it's the guy that in the dairy that sells them a mince pie, it's everybody. You know, we've got the opportunity to have the best multi-purpose arena in, you know, I'm going to say Australasia. I mean, I don't know anywhere where it's so close and so connected. You know, we've got that opportunity. You've been offered the land for free. You know, we've got a gift of 200 million maybe from the government, let's hope. That on top of your 253, you know, we're there, let's go. Let's build it. We've got to build it. Yeah, well, I've got that. Actually, it's funny that I said, let's build this down the bottom. I don't know how long I got, you know, but that's
well, you've got 10 seconds, but I wanted to ask you a separate question, which is nothing to do with what your submission's about.
Yeah.
But it's to do with the tramway, because
Yes.
we've had a couple of submissions on this, and there is a view that rather than going up the high street at all, we should just do the loop around Poplar Lane.
And I've spoken to your tram guys about that, and you know, I was blamed for getting the extension of the tram past the
No, it's all been resolved. It wasn't you.
No, and that's what I'm a big supporter of the tram.
I think
I'm happy for it to do that, love it to do that, or stop. Just I don't see the point in doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, and the thing is the only reason for doing it was actually so that it wasn't dug up again.
Yeah.
So the question is the question we've got to consider is whether we actually just are satisfied with the loop, and that's the end of it. And I think that's one that we'll consider as a council.
Little semi-pedestrianised, you know, slow routes and widened, and gosh, you know, with the tram stop there.
It'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant because I mean it's literally across the road, diagonal, from where it would stop. Okay, all right. Well, he had actually come to that.
Can I just say the accessible city? Can I just talk about that quickly?
No.
Please just take a break. You know? just put the money in the back pocket, take a breather, think about it, look at what we've done. We're at roadworks exhaustion. You know, that's where we're at. Just leave it alone for a bit.
We've had pretty strong feedback from the public in terms of their feeling about roadworks. So.
And on cycle lanes, I'm a big supporter of cycle lanes. I actually take photographs of cycle lanes when I go on holiday, but I hate your designs. I think your designs are terrible.
Yep, you made the point in your submission. Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our final